The focus of this workout is strictly strength, as the name says. There's no cardio, and then I want the reps to be quite low and the exercises to be very challenging so that we are promoting muscle growth and muscle recruitment. So for today, as our first strength workout, I'll be recommending 3 sets with 8 reps each. So you'll do each exercise 8 times and you'll do 3 rounds of that. You want to go heavy enough that you are totally fatigued at the end of those 8 reps and you couldn't squeeze out 10. Later on, once you get a little bit more used to the heavy lifting and more challenging exercises, then we'll reduce even further to 5 repetitions. But for today, we'll do 8. You can make your own judgment. If you feel like you can do 5 and go heavier because you've been strength training on your own, then go ahead, but just stay true to yourself and don't injure yourself. So we'll start off with a general warm-up, and then I'm going to focus on wrists because body weight strength training puts a lot of strain on wrists, so you need to have really healthy, strong wrists in order to sustain all this body weight training. Let me take my watch off here. So just getting your joints warmed up, we're going to start with some arm swings. And my ceiling is low here, but you're going to swing one arm up, one arm back. Just getting those shoulders working. Moving into some torso rotation, so twisting. Into your hips, knees, and ankles, you're going to move into some squats. Keep your feet flat on the floor. Pull the floor apart with your feet and just sit down and back. Stand up. Sit down and back. Stand up. Now I really want you to work deeper into the squat. I'm going to emphasize range of motion more than I would for some of the other classes I teach. So from here you can go even lower than you might normally. Trying to keep your chest up nice and tall, feet need to stay flat on the floor, but really stretching out those hips at the bottom. Give a little extra pause at the bottom here. All right, so wherever your bottom is, you're going to rock back and forth, pressing into those ankles. And then stand it up, moving into some rotation, stepping as though you're coming over a hurdle. Stay tall. And other way. Excellent. So like I said before, we're going to move into your wrists a little more intensely, a little more focused than we normally would in this warm-up. Just going to make sure you can see my elbows here. Okay. So to start out with, you're going to be kneeling on the floor and you're going to work into your forearms. How's that? Okay. So what you want to do is have your hands flat on the floor, and then you're just going to lift up and back down. And you're just resisting that motion so that you can feel the muscles in your forearm here firing. Going for up to 20 of these. So the more you resist with those fingers, the more intense it'll be. You can choose how hard you want to make it. All right, so your forearm should be on fire now. So what you want to do is have all your fingers pressing down into the ground nice and flat. If you look at my elbow pits, my arms are straight. I'm going to open them up so my elbow pits are facing forward. Rotate so they face back, forward, and back. I know that's creepy, right? So do what works for you. Make sure those fingers stay flat on the floor. I'm going to tell you in many exercises to keep your elbow pits facing forward. So that is this position. That's an important position to learn. One more. Okay. Place your hands out to the side. Elbow pits facing forward. You're going to rock one way, rock the other. Again, your fingers are flat on that floor. From here, you're going to take your hands, point your fingers back towards you. Elbow pits forward and you're rocking back. Like this. All right, and then what you're going to do is have your fingers pointing forward, leaning forward into it. So you're here, and you're leaning forward. Tolerable discomfort is what we're looking for. Last one here is the worst one. All right, so you're on the backs of your hands. Place those hands flat on the floor. Rotate your elbow pits forward. Keep your arms straight. And you're rocking back. So backs of my hands, elbow pits forward, rocking back. And this one you'll probably find quite intense. So if your hands are back here, it's easier. If your hands are further forward, it's tougher, depending on your mobility. So you decide where you put those hands. All right, nice work. Just shake those out. And then we're gonna get into our workout. So our first round, you can take it a little bit easier, but then sets 2 and 3, try to push it a bit harder. Have fun, let me know how it goes. All right, so this is a tutorial on sit downs. Sit downs are a great way for building up glute and hip strength and also getting you strong enough so that you can do pistol squats. So I'll show you a few variations of sit downs. Depending on your strength level, you may start on the easier version or on the more challenging version. So the first thing you will need is something to sit down on. I have a coffee table here. You could use steps or your couch. It's better if you have a firm surface to sit down on. It's a lot easier than if you have a harder surface. The taller the surface is, the easier it'll be. So this is a fairly low coffee bench, so it'll be a little bit more challenging. If I had a chair that was higher up, it would be easier. So the first level of sit downs would be on a higher up chair where my leg didn't even get to 90 degrees, maybe where I come to here. I'm going to show you with the coffee table, but play around with it a bit if you need a higher chair. So first version is body weight. You're going to stand on one leg. That foot stays flat on the floor and you're just going to control yourself. Sit down and then stand up. Now the first version, maybe you're not strong enough to stand up just using one leg. You're going to tap your other foot down just gently to help you get up. So you're going to control on the way down, tap the other leg to get up. So You would repeat that for the set number of reps and then do it on the other side, trying to keep everything in alignment. So with your free leg, you're not crossing over or behind and you're not swinging out wildly. So if you can do that, no problem. You can do up to 10 reps without failure. You're ready for level 2. Level 2, you're on one leg. You're gonna sit down, stand up, try not to fall over, sit down, everything's in nice alignment, stand up. All right, so this one I'm not touching with that free leg and keeping my alignment really good. From there, put on a backpack. Imagine you just gained some weight. All right, so this will motivate you maybe not to gain weight during this quarantine. So this is a great way to add intensity to your workouts, is just putting a backpack on and you can load it up as much as you want. So from here, again, you're just sitting down on that leg and standing back up, load it up as you need to. And then final version, which I'm not going to demo with a backpack because I'll probably not be successful, would be to add some power to it. So if you can do the backpack version 10 times without failure, then all you're going to do is sit down and then you're going to explode up as high as you can, sit down, explode up. And do that with as much weight as you can still explode off of that bottom position. So those are sit downs. Okay, so this is an inverted row and this is a regression from the pull-ups I showed last week. So if you don't have a pull-up bar or if you're not strong enough to do the negatives that I showed you last week, then this is a good alternative. What you need are a couple of chairs that are nice and firm and they're not going to tip over. These ones are a little bit low, so if you have a bit higher chairs, that would be even better. And I just have some cross-country ski poles here. Just make sure whatever you use, it can hold your whole body weight. So from here, what I'm going to do is bend my knees and lift my hips up, squeezing my glutes. I'm going to use my arms to pull my body off the ground, bringing my chest up to the bar and back down. Pulling up and back down. If you're feeling strong, straighten your legs, still squeezing your glutes, moving your whole body at the same time, pulling up and back down, up and back down. Hello and welcome to slider push-ups. So what you'll need for this exercise is a slippery surface. So if you have carpet, you can use plastic plates or something to slide on the carpet. And if you have hardwood or tile, then you can use old dish rags, or I'm using just some old t-shirts as my gliders, or maybe you actually own gliders. Those are the best, obviously, but there's a lot of different options, even towels or whatever, that can also work for you. So this is a variation on a push-up. You can make these very challenging or you can make them a bit easier. I'll show you different versions. And these are a really great bodyweight exercise to do if you don't have access to dumbbells, because you can almost make it like a chest fly if you're really strong. So if you're not so strong, then you can just use milk jugs for your chest flies. But if you are really strong, then this is a good alternative. So I'll show you easiest version first, which would be on your knees and just moving one hand at a time. So you're on your knees for your push-up. You're just going to slide one hand out and slide it back in. One hand out, slide it back in. Now, more difficult would obviously be from your toes. And then more difficult from that would be both hands at the same time. So if you're here, you're gonna slide out and then slide them both back in at the same time. So really big squeeze here to get them both back in. Obviously from your toes is even more challenging. And then what you would do if you're feeling really strong and more of a fly, I'll just show you the downward phase because I won't be able to get back up. But what you're going to do is come down and go even wider with your push-up, and then you would squeeze it back up. So you can go as wide as you want with those. The wider you go, the more challenging it'll be. Trying to move both hands at the same time unless you're doing the first modified version. Give them a shot and let me know how it goes. Okay, this is a good morning exercise. This is a more advanced version of a deadlift. So if you do not have access to very heavy weights for deadlift, this is a good alternative. So you can use ski poles and milk jugs like I've done to add some weight, or you can hug a really heavy weight to your chest is another option. So what you want to do for this one, you're going to have your legs almost straight, just a slight bend in your knees, and you need to be very proficient at the deadlift motion. So you need to be able to feel that your back is nice and flat, keeping that neutral spine. If you're not proficient at that motion, then just stick with deadlifts. Don't try good mornings. So what you're going to do here is have that weight across your back, nice flat back. You're going to hinge forward at the hips, go until you feel a really good stretch through your hamstrings, and then back up. Really good stretch here. Notice how my back is flat, it's not rounding at all, and then back up. Start with lightweight and then slowly work it heavier because you might be a bit surprised in how this affects you. All right, so this is an exercise for your shoulders. Mostly working the backs of your shoulders. It's really good for getting at those weaker, hard to access muscles. What you will need is a towel or a piece of rope would work as well. And all you're going to do is hold that towel or rope. Start at about a 45-degree angle. The higher up you go, the tougher it will be. So hold it at 45 degrees and you're going to pull it apart as though you're going to rip that towel in half. And from here, you're just going to pull one way and resist with the other arm. So I'm pulling with this arm, resisting with this arm. Keep your shoulders down and back away from your ears. Pull one way, and then to complete your rep, pull the other way. And if you really resist and you really pull, it is very challenging. Make sure that your body doesn't rotate. It's just your arms moving and your body stays still. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. All right, our next exercise are dips. I'll start with the easier progression and work my way to more challenging ones. So the easier progression of dips, you're going to have your hands on the side of your table or chair. You need to keep your body upright so that your back stays close to your table or chair. Feet are bent and you're just going to bend your elbows, keeping your body close to that chair and then pressing back up. Using your triceps, try to keep them tucked in behind you. So if it's easy with your bent legs, then the next version would be straight legs, like so. The further away your legs are, the tougher it will be. So if I slide my coffee table back, if I'm here, coming down, and back up. Again, I'm keeping my body nice and close to the coffee table. And then if I want to get another level up from there, I would put my feet onto a raised surface like a couch. Here, doing dips. Now I'm lifting most of my body weight with my triceps. And then your last version would be to get your toddler to sit on your lap while you do this, or you could put a pile of books or something on there if you'd like. Okay, so this is a progression from our elbows to knees crunches. These are hanging abs. The easiest way to do them is with your legs bent, and as you get more progressive, you can try to do them with straighter legs. I would recommend stretching out your hamstrings beforehand because the tighter your hamstrings are, the more challenging these are going to be. So give yourself a good hamstring stretch before you start. So all you want to do is hang from your bar, and then you're just going to bring your knees up and back down. And you're getting a really good crunch at the top, full extension through your hips at the bottom. So when you're at the bottom, it's fully extended here. You're not still having your knees forward. To make it more challenging, just straighten those legs out. If you're in CrossFit, you will have heard of the term toes to bar, and that is much harder. Okay, so this is an alternative to our hanging abs. This is the human flag. I'm going to use my cherry tree as a counterbalance for my weight. You just need some sort of fixed object behind you, or if you have a partner, you can hold on to their legs to help you do this exercise. So what you want to do is hold on to whatever that object is behind you. You're going to curl your legs up so that your back is off the ground. Try to straighten those legs out and then slowly lower your body as slowly as you can down to the ground, and then you would repeat. So upward phase is really not so important, and then it's this downward phase, slow, 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 and then back down. So when you're lowering down, the further out your legs are, the tougher it'll be. You can adjust intensities. If your body's in a perfectly straight line, it's extremely challenging.